Hello, and welcome to the second alternate cut of the Palmer tour video. Now, the extended version was merely the version where I showed you stuff that I personally was, interested in showing you. But the assistant director's cut is stuff that my best friend, who the original video is dedicated to, I wrote her and she told me stuff that she was interested in knowing some more about, and so I looked around, did some research and stuff, and unfortunately I wasn't able to locate everything that she was looking for, but I hope that she and everyone else who watches this video, this alternate cut of the video, will be satisfied with what they see, and this video will be pretty much around the same length as the original version, but there will be some parts where that will be cut out and replaced with alternative footage, and so hopefully everyone will like it.
Great Spirit of the mountains, Great Spirit in the trees, you flow along the shoreline, you whisper in the breeze, you warm me with your sunshine and cleanse me with your rain. Your drops scatter around me just to rise and fall again. Oh, Great Spirit, around me and within, flowing in and out of me on every breath. Oh, Great Spirit, the beginning and the end, you are the source of all of life.
I'm here to give you guys a tour of my hometown of Palmer, Alaska. As you can see, I'm right here in front of the Palmer Museum of History and Art, and it's also the Visitor Center. And if you come with me, and right here we have an old horse-drawn plow, and there aren't really any horses around the town really anymore, so there's not much use for things like this, but it's still a cool piece of history. Palmer is nestled in the lovely Matanuska Valley and surrounded by the Talkeetna and Chugach Mountains. The story of Palmer began in May of 1893, when some Alaskan pioneer named George Palmer, born in Pennsylvania, made his way to Alaska from Seattle, where he was a logger. He grew the first veggies. I couldn't find a photo of him, but here's a picture of some veggies. And then over here, there's a statue of the famous sled dog known as BALTO. Balto was the lead dog of the Gunnar Gusson's dog team. This team was the final team of the Diphtheria Serum Run to Nome from the railroad station of Nenana in 1925. This sculpture was made possible by the efforts of the Butte, I think that's how you say that, elementary, second and third grade class of the 1997 to 98 school year. Balto, 1919 to March 14, 1933, was a black and white Siberian husky and sled dog who led his team on the final leg of the 1925 Serum Run to Nome, in which diphtheria antitoxin was transported from Anchorage, Alaska to Nenana, Alaska by train and then to Nome by sled dog to combat an outbreak of the disease. Balto was named after the Sami explorer Samuel Balto. Balto died of old age at age 14. The wagon wheel representing this valley was used by original settlers, and so this is like a really cool piece of history. The placard above it reads, Sister Cities, October 28, 1980, Soroma, Cho, Japan, and Palmer, Alaska. Friendship across the sea, exchanges for education, understanding, goodwill, and everlasting peace. And over here we have a Farmall Cub tractor with buzzsaw for cutting firewood somewhere. And it also says, please don't climb on equipment. Not that I think I'd really want to, because this looks really uncomfortable. But it's, as usual, a cool piece of Palmer history. And so I think that pretty much covers the Palmer Museum. And so let's continue on. As you can see, number 5. You can climb on the exhibit, and I remember it's been painted sometime recently, but there are still some working levers. I cannot tell you what they do, but it's a cool thing, and it provided us with lots of amusement over the years. In the late 19th century, the U.S. government began to take interest in the Matanuska coal fields located north of Palmer. This interest sparked financiers to consider constructing the Alaska Central Railroad in 1904. With railroad accessibility, new markets for agriculture began to open up for farmers in the Matanuska Valley. Although the Federal Department of Agriculture broke ground on the experiment station in 1917, Palmer didn't become a bustling community until the colonist families arrived in 1935. In 1 year, Palmer transformed from a mere whistle-stop rail siding to a planned community with modern utilities and community services. And then over here, there's Fireside Books, Palmer's own little bookstore, not nearly as extensive as places like Barnes & Noble, certainly, but they have good selections. And then if you look over here through the trees and stuff, that's the old Palmer train depot, and as of now the trains, the track itself is hasn't been updated, and it would cost upwards of millions of dollars to repair, and obviously it's not a priority, it seems, for the people of Palmer. But anyway, that's the old train depot, which is used now for different community events and stuff. And then we have Vagabond Blues, which is one of my favorite coffee shops. And cool thing about this place is that it also, in addition to serving great coffee and really good pastries, they also have a stage, and so I can remember being there and seeing such famous people as the actually the most famous person that I've ever seen there was a band called the GLACIal ERRATICS, which are a really famous Alaskan band. And in more recent years, back in, I think it was 2009, our acupuncturists who dabble in things like music and stuff, they gave a little performance there in which they did mostly cover songs, but they did a couple of originals, including an original song that I'd written in.
Hold your attention as far as I can reach. I wanna hold your attention. Hold your attention. Hold your attention. Attention. Oh yeah.
And behind me right here is the Palmer Public Library, and it's not much to look at on the outside, but they do have a good selection on the inside. It's been a while since I personally have been in there, but I remember they have a good selection, sorry. And you have a nice little vegetable garden here. This parking lot used to be the space where Cars Quality Center grocery store used to be, and that was basically where my family and I would get most of our groceries from. There's actually a Fred Meyer across the street that way now, which was built, I'd say, probably about, give or take, 7 years ago, maybe. And the new Cars Quality Center is now actually just across the road that way. But I can remember it was a really great store. It had good people, had a nice kind of sort of a family-owned environment, I remember. But the city has definitely grown a lot since then, but it was nice. And behind me is the First National Bank, and there's actually another bank a little ways up the road. I'm not gonna take you over to it, but it's the Matanuska Valley Bank. And sorry, loud truck. And behind the loud truck is the Palmer Fire Department, and luckily we don't have too many emergencies, and so I haven't seen too many fire trucks coming out of it, which is a good thing. Then if you walk down this way a little bit, this is a building that I actually don't know if this building was the first hotel in the valley, but it's certainly old enough and dilapidated enough to qualify as the first hotel in the valley. You can go inside this building, but we're not gonna go inside. We're not going to tour the building right there, but it is a cool little place. The Palmer Post Office opened July 6, 1917, with Goran O. White as postmaster. In 1925, the post office was abandoned by Mr. White. The so-called historical website from which I gleaned this information does not give specifics on why, but after a fashion, the post office came under the postmastership of James W. Felton. And now here we are in front of the Matanuska River. It's winter, as you can see, and that way south is, if you follow the river, is the Matanuska Glacier, and we're not going to be going up that way. It takes about maybe an hour 40 minutes at the most, and then over that way is the rest of the city that I've already shown you guys, and the cliff here is totally eroded, and the fence line has been moved back quite a bit, and this is one of our favorite destinations around Palmer. So yeah, and here is a farm, and there are some cows way back there in the woods. Probably can't see them, but there would be I usually see some horses around here as well, and the city is over that way south. I mean north, and so yeah.
Lord, I love thy valleys, ripe with golden corn, and the fragrant meadows in the early morn. Lord, I love thy woodland, the sheltered, cool one seeks, and the rushing waters of your mountain creeks. Here will roam my children, growing wise each day, just skipping 'neath the pine trees, just running through the hay. Shoes from off my feet, but these gentle valleys, I pray you'll always keep.